Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Alright, I see we have some viewers starting to file in. Hello and welcome to round 11 of our VRL F2 championships. My name is Ethan. I will be commentating today for the USA Grand Prix at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. Coda is a pretty interesting track. I don't think it's a fan favorite per se, but I also don't think that anyone really dislikes this track. I'd say the opinion on this track is fairly neutral. I personally do enjoy it. Not just because I am American, but because it seems like it's a fairly enjoyable track, and I like driving it on the game, so I think that some of the other drivers will have the same opinions on this track as we are going to get this 18-minute qualifying session underway right about the championship outlook, kind of a review of the season so far. Let me just pull that up for you, just so I have it on hand. Karem has been pretty dominant, I would say, consistently throughout the season. Obviously, guys like Alex Bomberg, Nick, and Virus have been quick, but Karem has emerged as the fastest. A lot of credit to guys like Karem, Wakanda, Virus, Kimmy, and Nick. They have been racing F2, but they've been racing F1 as well, and have been very, very quick in F1 as well, so showing that they can compete at multiple levels. Same with Alex Bomberg and I believe a couple other drivers on the grid. Yeah, but in terms of the championship outlook, Karim has a solid 70-point lead on Alex Bomberg, and the championship could be settled today, actually. I will get into that later. But when you head over to the constructors standings, then it gets a lot more interesting with the BWT Racing Point F1 team having a 1-point gap back to Aston Martin Red Bull Racing. So Leroy and iQuicks are going to be racing for Red Bull, Karem and Jacob today instead of Stein for Racing Point. So both those guys are going to try to be getting some results. Let me just set all this up for you. Alright. But yes, in terms of the championship and if it can possibly be claimed today. So if Karem finishes P1 and Alex Bomberg finishes any less than P2, Karem will win. Unless if Alex Bomberg finishes, so if Karem finishes P1, Alex Bomberg will either have to finish P2 or P3 with the fastest lap. If Karem finishes P2, Alex Bomberg will either have to finish P5 or P6 with the fastest lap. So obviously you can see how it goes. So Alex Bomberg is really gonna have to pretty much pray that he needs to get at least second place in the fastest lap. If he gets second place and doesn't get the fastest lap, then most likely the championship will go to Karem, as we see that quite a few drivers getting out and setting lap times early. Not setting times yet, obviously, but want to get that banker lap in, including Nick, Leroy, iQuicks, Batboy, Jabi in the Williams, who's looked very quick throughout the season, as has his teammate TRT Kimmy. In terms of the Constructors' Championship, obviously it's a very close race, and that will not be decided today, but we could see a VRL champion today, so obviously very, very, very exciting stuff. Karem, obviously a lot of pressure on his shoulders today. It's obviously a very difficult task to win a championship, no matter what division you're competing in. And I'm sure a F2 championship will go a long way for his likelihood of stepping up to F1 full-time in Season 6. As Pepin pulls into the pits, strangely enough. Matt, aka Yoda Speak, is on an outlap. I believe Leroy, iQuicks, Virus, Karem, and Kimmy are all on qualifying laps. Let's ride along with our championship leader. As I said, he's been quick all season, and there really hasn't been anyone stopping him for the most part, in all honesty. So we will see. As actually Karem here. Let me just check real quick. So let's see. So we have it's fitted. Looks like Kimi, Wakanda, Virus, and Karem are all on the medium tire. I think maybe they think in terms of strategy that the medium tire is the best tire to start on, which is interesting. All the other runners will be on the soft tire. As we see Karem coming up towards some traffic there, it's TTV iQuicks who pulls out of the way. I do believe iQuicks was on a lap, maybe still is on a, no, his lap time was invalidated, so he makes the right decision there, pulls off. He's gonna cut this massively, as, oh, that was actually fairly dangerous, as he's just gonna cut all the S's, I guess. A little strange from iQuicks as he nearly runs into the gravel. Oh my goodness, he almost spins. He does spin here, and he hits the wall. Let's see if he rejoins safely here. Oh my goodness, this is an interesting situation. He's gonna, I don't really know what he's gonna have to do. He does finally get on track with a Renault behind him. That's really strange for iQuicks. But Nick Pankhurst in the Alfa Romeo sets a 1:30.9 as the kind of the time to beat for the rest of the field. Jabi with a 1:31.1, about 2/10 back. Another 10th back is Wakanda, then about a second back is TRT Kimi, so he will most definitely be going for another run to try and fix that. Not that it's necessarily a bad lap, especially on the medium tire, but as you will see, that time will kind of start slipping back. He's 8/10 back of both Yoda and Batboy, and then another few tenths back of the leaders. But yeah, that was, as Peter Hank retires from the session. I don't know if that's due to a connection error or something along those lines. So hopefully we do get him back for the race. He may be starting from the back of the grid, but he didn't disconnect, so I think he's still in the lobby. But it looks like there's a lot of traffic here, which is interesting. On qualifying laps, normally those drivers are going to do everything they can to not have traffic. But as of now, it looks like they've all gone out at the same time, and they're all kind of bunching up in this third section. These multiple 180-degree turns here, these big sweeping left to right. It's almost like you took the S's at the beginning of the lap and scrunched them together. So it's kind of this long and winding feel to it when you drive it. As Leroy goes P1, about 4/10 of a second faster than Nick Pankhurst. Leroy's going to be relatively happy with that lap. I think that's a competitive lap time, but the runners will certainly be trying to match that on their second or third runs. Let's ride along with Karem now. He was obviously unhappy with his first lap, so he just ducked into the pits. But he does have clean air in front of him. As Nodix leaves the session, hopefully we get him back as well. As our championship leader makes his way through this S section, you know, similar to the Suzuka S's we had last race. A lot of tracks adopting that kind of style of turn. Obviously, opens up for him at the end there. As he makes his way down the back straight now. Halfway through the second sector. It does seem like he's on his outlap. I failed to notice that, which is interesting, but as I see, he really uses up all the track there. I think all our runners are going to do that. Stay as wide as you can there through that straight, and then he's going to come through the S's. It's interesting, though. He does seem to be pushing relatively hard, so not much regard for tire life. Although, if I do remember correctly, he went out on the medium compound tires, so obviously deciding that the medium is not the right tire. He heads around this long, very, very long right-hander, and then two left-handers through the penultimate corner to begin his first flying lap. Puts that ERS mode up into hot lap to get the energy flowing throughout the engine. he will obviously have 100% of the ERS on this lap. So let's see what Karam can do here on his first lap. Into turn 1 he goes. Very, very tight turn 1. Might see some bumping and rubbing on the opening lap as he now heads towards the S section. It's going to be flat through these first 3, then it's going to be a slight lift and then braking through these next 2. And then the third is going to open up into a 90-degree turn, which you just flow through, and then you're out onto this mini straight here into a left-hander down towards the hairpin, which is going to kind of mark the halfway point of the lap. And now you come down this long back straight. It's the fastest straight on the racetrack. As you see, it's way to the side there. Almost 2 wheels, or 4 wheels rather, over the white line, but he just stays within track limits. Down the gears he goes. Big lockup there, but shouldn't affect him too much. That's a fairly common lockup spot. And he is purple through the second sector, so early promising signs for Karam. We do see that the fuel icon is flashing, so I think he does not have much fuel in the car, but he should have enough to finish this lap. As you look and see, he only has 3 corners left. Into the penultimate corner he goes. This is double 2 90-degree left-handers. Final corner. Runs it wide out of there. DRS wide open. Across the line with a 130.6. So not able to capitalize on those 2 purple sectors. Third sector may be an area where Karam will kind of look and see what he did well and what he can do better. But that is that for the first lap for Karam. Looking at it now, he will most likely have time for another run, or not, 2 more runs if he chose to, but that would be kind of pushing it. So I think he will most likely just go for 1 more run at the end of the session, but you never know, you might want to get in another to be safe. But a 130.6 is a rather competitive time. His teammate Jacob is on an out lap now. iQuicks is on a flying lap. Nodix, I think Nodix is having some connection issues, which is a little unfortunate. But, you know, it does happen with online video games. As Alex Bumberg, second place in the championship, and I'll tell you, if there's one person that has more pressure on his shoulders than Karam this week, it's Alex Bumberg. He really needs to keep it close in the championship race. That beautiful black Mercedes, obviously Valtteri Bottas piloting that machine to a P1 finish in qualifying today at Imola with his teammate Lewis Hamilton about a 10th behind him. Fairly exciting qualifying session that was. I enjoyed that thoroughly, and hopefully we can recreate some of the drama here. As you see Alex Bumberg on his out lap. He's really going to want to be close to the front of the grid here today if he wants to have any chance at staying competitive in this championship. His qualifying results haven't been fantastic, but he's always been fairly quick. But he's going to want to be on the front 2 grids today as he loses the back end there. As Mems Virus goes P1, 3/10 out of Batboy with a 130.0. Virus with some controversy. I believe he had a few penalty points added to his license after a dispute with some admins, but good to see him on the racetrack as he brings it into the pits. Leroy then sets a 130.3 again, so no improvement. This is his in-lap. Is through the S's on his out lap, keeping it clean, keeping it smooth. Everything you want to see out of a driver. Fairly technical section of the track, that is. This whole track really does take a lot of the drivers. It is fairly challenging, I would say, and it's a fairly long lap as well, with times, you know, in the mid 130s, being a competitive lap time as he comes down the back straight here. But looks good as of now. I believe he was green through the first sector. No purple sectors though, which is not what he would want to see, I think. As he now comes towards the first of these like looping tight left-right patterns. He is purple through the second sector though. Promising stuff for Alex Bamberg. This could be a really, really solid lap here as he comes around this long, sweeping right-hander all the way around, flat through all of this. There's a car off to the left there that he narrowly avoids. Into the final corner here. Goes down the gears into third, down to second just to get a little more turn in and out of the car. DRS open up to the line. Oh my goodness, it's going to be P10 for Alex Bomberg. Not the result he was looking for at all, guys. That's really not ideal for him. I think he kind of has a long way to go in this contest for him to even have a chance at the championship. So that's certainly disappointing news for Alex. To be P10 as of now. It's, yeah, that's just really disappointing for him, I think. But he will have time for one more go at it, so he can go back, address the things he missed, and maybe fix some of those things, hopefully. You know, if you look at the boards, if he shaves half a second, or, you know, a second-ish off his time, that puts him right about where TRT Kimi and Karem both are. I know we're talking about Alex Bomberg having a disappointing qualifying, but our championship leader, Karem, not in terms of position, not having a great qualifying, but obviously that time is fairly competitive, only about 8 tenths off of pole position. The two Renaults seem to be absolutely flying so far, both of them. It looks like as of now we're front row lockout, not front grid, but obviously with time for one more run here in this session, we will see. As we see, is that a Mercedes off there? Yeah, it does look like it is a Mercedes of Alex Bomberg on his out lap, probably trying to cut corners to get back to the pits, and maybe took a little too much speed through those. As Xavi sets a 130.7, which is going to put him P8. As Wakanda heads out for his final lap, I believe his teammate Virus will likely follow suit. Looks like there is a bit of traffic here, but Xavi is on his in lap and Wakanda's on his out lap, so that shouldn't really matter, assuming Xavi just ducks it into the pits at the end of his lap, and then that will release Wakanda. It could actually help Wakanda a bit if he gets a bit of a slipstream. It could help him extend his lead as he heads past that big structure in the background. I never really figured out what that was, but it's a fairly iconic landmark here at COTA. But it's going to be interesting to see if Wakanda can hold off his teammate here. Obviously, both of them super quick drivers. But we shall see. Plenty of time for drama here, as it looks like Wakanda is going to be... it's going to be Xavi and Yoda, along with Nodix, are going to be... not Nodix, because his lap time has been deleted. But Yoda and Xavi are going to be the first people to set their final time, as Xavi is way off the pace here, so he will duck into the pits, and unfortunately I think that might be it for Xavi Mateos. There's just not enough time in it for a second lap, so not a second lap, a follow-up lap to that, so the hopes of Williams F1 team kind of rests on Kimi as of now. Obviously 8th, not a terrible position for Xavi, but could certainly be better. As you see here, a lot of clean air here for Kimi, so this certainly has the potential to be a good lap if the traffic kind of stays the same for his final lap. Leroy here is on a flying lap, and there's a Ferrari in front of him, I believe, but he should not catch up with him, as Leroy absolutely flying through that section. Jeez, looking really quick there in the Red Bull. And if the two Red Bulls could, in theory, if they finish ahead of the racing points, they could jump them in the constructor standings. So while the Drivers' Championship is likely out of reach, the constructors are certainly still in play. I think part of that maybe because of the fact that sometimes the racing points uh, didn't either didn't have their drivers at the race, not their drivers, but there was only uh, one driver at the race, so the team only had the points haul for one driver. Example: if Karem won a race, that's obviously 25 points in the bag, but if Leroy gets second and iQuicks gets fourth, then the Red Bulls are going to come away with more points. So honestly, uh, Karem has kind of outperformed his teammates as he is going to set a lap that is good enough for P3. So Karem has certainly outperformed both Stein and Jacob here at Racing Point. So he's kind of carried that team to a hopeful Constructors Championship. I don't know if they will follow through with that because the Red Bulls do look close, although iQuick's unlucky to not get in the lap time because of connection issues. Nick Pankers here goes, is that Nick going purple through Sector 2? Seems like a lot of people going purple through Sector 2, so that seems to be a strength for a lot of the drivers here on the track as he heads through this long looping right-hander. Virus sets a lap that is good enough for P2, but Wakanda is still in pole position. As of now, we still have some very quick drivers to come, including Jacob, who is only good enough for 132, as Nick will move up into P4 with a 130.2. Bat Boy's lap time is invalidated, and I don't believe we have anyone else finishing, so Wakanda is going to finish up with a pole position here for the U.S. Grand Prix at Austin. Our final grid here is going to be a front row lockout for the Renaults. Wow, that's Karem in P3, but half a second back. Not very common here at VRL. Normally the gaps are a bit closer. Nick Pancras only 0.004 of a second off of Karem's third place position. That will round out the second row. Third row consists of Leroy and Batboy, with Kimmy and Matt, aka Yoda Speak, behind them. Javi and Pepin round out our top 10 with Alex, Yuri, Jacob, Sam, iQuicks, and Peter Hank behind them. It's shaping up to be an interesting race, to say the least. Let's see if the Renaults will continue their dominance in these sessions, or if someone else could sneak off on them. So we will see. Looks like a little foggy, a little overcast here in Austin, but I don't believe we're expecting rain. So at least that element of uncertainty will be out of the question here. As we are 20 seconds away from our formation lap. Excuse me. Although I am American, I've never been to the USA Grand Prix. I don't exactly live close to Texas, so that would be a fairly difficult task, I think. Let's get, I think that's good. Hold on. Fitted tire. There we go. Everyone except Alex and Yuri are going to be on the soft tires here. Alex, obviously, needing to finish in front of Karem. He's going to take a bit of a gamble on the strategy. Looks like they're saying the two-stop is the optimal strategy. I do wonder if it is possible to pull off a one-stop here. Really not sure if that will be possible. But Alex has proven he is a fairly decent when it comes to recovery drives and stuff of that nature. So if anyone can do it, he certainly has a chance. Austin, obviously in Texas, sometimes gets very hot, especially when the race is normally held here. But I do think the track temps are probably getting up there, even as the formation lap begins. But yeah, we shall see if track temps are going to come into play. It said that the pit window is between laps 8 and 11. 8 does seem pretty early, but we will see. Obviously, the drivers have the best idea of tire life and things of that nature. So we will see what they decide to do. As we are going to form up on the grid here. Wait for the rest of our racers to form up, and then we should be underway. ST Gamey says, "Go on, Renault." Yeah, Renault certainly seemed to be very, very competitive, at least throughout this qualifying session, as there's a Williams a bit behind on the... that's Alex, actually. Alex Bomberg, a bit behind on the formation lap, just trying to get as much heat into his tires as possible. As it looks like we are now ready to go, I think. Yep, looks like the cars are forming up on the grid. Five red lights. And away we go here in Austin. It looks like a fairly decent getaway for the two Renaults. They will stay in front of Karem and Nick as we head towards turn 1. It's going to be Virus taking the lead from his teammate pretty easily there. With Nick sliding it up the inside. Oh, there's cars off behind. Looks like there's Matt is fairly far behind in the Alpha. I don't know if he picked up any damage there. I also saw Williams off the track, but luckily not into the wall. So as expected, a hectic start here. With Virus taking the lead from his teammate Wakanda, Nick and Karim to follow, with Leroy and Alex behind them. So Alex making up 4 positions there, maybe even 5. He might have started P11. As we see a yellow flag in Sector 2. Is that Peter? Has he spun? Let's see. No, I don't really know what happened there. As we getting updated pit stop strategy. So it looks like there is a possibility for a 1-stop. But no DNFs yet, so they're keeping it out of the wall, keeping it clean, which is what we like to see. Most definitely. Perfect start. Yeah, that's pretty much as good as you're going to get in terms of starts. Normally we might see some disqualifications or something of that nature, but certainly a clean start and pretty much exactly what we could have hoped for. So. And I don't really know what's going on, but it keeps giving us pit stop strategies. So, and interestingly enough, it does look like that Javi is ducking into the pits. I did see Javi go off at turn 1, but I don't know if he might have picked up some damage. So let's see what the Williams crew does. Will there be a fresh front wing? Yes, there will be a front wing change here for Javi, just to get some more downforce on the car. There's a yellow flag in Sector 1, and it looks like it's Yuri. Peter Hank has retired from the session, and Yuri, oh my goodness, and there's a safety car. Yuri had spun. There's a Alpha Tauri out at one of the S's, so I think that the Alpha Tauri teammates might have gotten into it with each other. So I think that either Yuri spun Peter or Peter spun Yuri. Yuri comes out the better of them. At least he's still in this race, but unfortunately that is the end of the race for Peter. Only on lap 2, so obviously disappointing to see. But now there's some important strategy calls, I think, for the drivers. They will most likely all take a fresh pair of tires, but the question is, what compound will that tire be? little little fighting between the Renault and Racing Point team principals in the chat. Yeah, those Renaults certainly are going for it. Safety car obviously throws a bit of a wrench into the works, or a spanner for some of my British friends, as it looks like Carem brings into the pits. The Renaults stay out, and Nick Pancras, it looks like the majority of the field is actually staying out, which is interesting. Even on early safety cars, you see cars take tires. Now we see a bit more of a split. Um, but yeah, it looks like we can actually pull that up if we go down to, oh, not gap, our details here. Looks like mostly everyone you see on the medium tire now has pitted. As Nodix receives a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. That's like the most common penalty we see. But it looks like a split strategy now, which is certainly it'll pay off for half the field, and for the other half of the field, it's not going to be the result they want, which tends to happen with split strategies. So this should get interesting. Yeah, soft medium strategy, depending on how long this safety car goes. If it goes for 2 or 3 more laps, I'd say that soft to medium is certainly possible. With good tire management, obviously. You can't be burning through your sets like that, but, you know, it is certainly a possibility. So not much changes at the front. Alex makes his way up to P5. He is in front of Karam now. So in your live championship standings, if you are keeping track of that, it looks like Karam is still going to be hunting down the championship for another weekend. Obviously, with 3 races remaining, it's kind of coming into crunch time now. But we will see if you know, that battle. I'd love to see that battle go another week, but obviously with a 70-point gap, it's hard to keep battles like that going. So yeah, certainly a very difficult task. Normally, in most in F1, if there's a 70-point gap to someone with 3 races to go, normally that isn't the best sign. But like I said, Alex Bomberg, no stranger to comebacks, so he will try to keep this race alive for the sake of the racers and for the sake of the fans. I'm sure no one, you know, some people Alex's show positions gained. I think he wants me to show that because he's gained quite a few positions. So let's see, position change. Yeah, Jacob is up 7 positions and Alex is up 6. So they're both of our biggest winners. And Kimmy losing 5 positions will be our biggest loser, along with his teammate Javi and Karem, who of course did have a pit stop. So that's not unexpected to be losing positions like that, as the safety car will come in this lap. So we have 25 laps under, so when they come across the line, it'll be lap 5. So yeah, 24 laps under green flag conditions, assuming there's no more safety cars. So soft to medium with 24 laps. If you get, yeah, you can get 10 laps out of a soft and 14 laps out of a medium. So I'd say, although they've already had, they would have to, that's tricky. That's certainly a tough call. But if it is a 2-stop, I don't know what tire they would go on. A hard would certainly make it. They could certainly go soft to hard, but depending on what type of tire they have allocated. that will depend. It will affect their decision. And it looks like we are under green flag conditions, and it certainly looks like Wakanda has not jumped the gun, but got off to a absolutely ridiculous start. Um, Virus Virus is almost 2.5 seconds in front of his teammate as we head back through the fields. Jacob and Karem seem to be going at it a little. I wonder if Stein will tell those boys to stop fighting, but Karem gets past him, although it looks like Jacob may be fighting back, especially on the soft tire. They are still side by side as they head in towards the third sector. Karem runs pretty wide there, but he's going to fight back up the inside. Big lockup. They're going to run side by side. This is great stuff from the lads in pink. Little cutback, switchback there from Karem. Maybe Jacob loses the back end, kind of slides right in front of Karem. So it looks like that is move not so done for Karem, and he might be under attack from Leroy from behind. Back to the top, it does look like Wakanda has began to close that gap a bit. Seems like the racers are sort of settling into their pace. No one really making any moves. I do wonder if the Racing Point team principal will tell Jacob to give up that position to Karem. But he is under attack from Leroy now. They're both on the same tire. Big lockup from Leroy, but as long as Karem doesn't hold this all the way around the outside, oof, this is another battle. That's quite interesting in the midfield, and quite impactful on the championship battle, because if Leroy finishes in front of Karem, then I believe that's Red Bull up to P1 in the constructors standings. But it does look like Karem will defend from them in the time being, but certainly lots of laps left in this race. But as of now, Karem does hold station, and looks like Leroy kind of gets gypped by Yoda's Peak there. So well done to Yoda's Peak to get by them. He will press on towards Karem now. Alex Bomberg gets a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. Honestly, most drivers get at least one of those throughout the race, so sometimes they just even out. And these guys obviously pushing so hard, and the rules are fairly strict. So, you know, it seems that everyone kind of gets that type of penalty. I did say that if Leroy finishes in front of Karem, then Red Bull will move into P1 of the constructor standings, but that isn't entirely true, as iQuicks is out of the points, as Yuri, oh my goodness, it is an absolute disaster for the AlphaTauri boys. It looks like iQuicks was involved with that incident, involved with Yuri there. Nodix gets a drive-through penalty, so it goes from bad to worse for the Ferrari driver. And both the AlphaTauris out, so no points for them. That certainly hurts their midfield finishing aspirations. So disappointing there. I'm sure the boys back at the paddock aren't going to be happy with that. as this would be a bit of an early pit for the soft runners, but let's go ahead and see what tires are going to be fitted after the round of pit stops. Looks like most of the soft runners, except Wakanda, are pitting. I see Virus, I think, went soft to soft, which is interesting. Batboy puts on the medium tire. Jacob and Nick both put on the hard tire. And Javi puts on the medium tire. So even more split is the strategy now, and it's certainly going to allow for some interesting racing. Let's look at position change here. Virus down 8 positions, mostly just because of pit stops. Nodix and iQuicks up 6 positions, mostly because of pit stops. Nick down 9 positions. Not great for him there. And Alex Bomberg up 9 positions. So everyone seems to be going up and down the order by large margins as iQuicks picks up a penalty. iQuicks are gonna blow up the engine by doing that, buddy. iQuicks and Virus maybe getting a little racy under safety car. Don't really know what's going on with that, but that's interesting to see the drivers behaving like that. Show tires. I thought I just did. Yeah, I mean, we got 2 on the hards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pretty much all the midfield is on the mediums, along with Alex and Karem. A few more laps under safety car conditions now, looks like. As we are now at the 20 lap mark, or 20 laps to go mark, rather. But Nodix kind of silently making his way up to P8, but I do believe he has a penalty he needs to serve, which will not do him any favors in this race. And our leader, Wakanda, will likely have to make a pit stop within the next 2 or 3 laps. I guess we are under safety cars, so the tire wear is not going to be as bad. So he may have another 4 laps maximum, I'd say, on those tires. But those soft tires are certainly going to fall off fairly quickly. So strategy-wise, he needs to be kind of thinking about that. It's actually a little confusing why he wouldn't have just stopped with the rest of the pack, but I guess he's rejecting that idea and staying out. So it looks like we will be under green flag conditions next lap. So we'll have, let's see, lap 10, 19 laps. I know it always seems like it should be 18, right? Because 10 plus 18 equals 28, but we got to take into account the 28th lap, as we will now restart this race here. We are away, and it looks like Wakanda Racing is away, and clear of Alex Bomberg, as Karem could fancy move into turn 1 here on Alex Bomberg.
He's gonna slide it up the inside, and that is move done for Karem rather, who and Alex Bomberg is now under attack from Yoda's Feek. So this is certainly gonna get racy real quick as Alex Bomberg is able to break away a bit. As Batboy retires from his session, we see his Haas there at the first of the S's off there to the left. I hope this doesn't bring out a safety car. I don't want to say it. I do think we're okay. The cars are away, and it does look like the stewards have already cleared that car. So great work from the virtual stewards. As Virus, all the way at the back of the grid now. Interestingly enough, he did pit, but it is still a little interesting to see him all the way back there. I wonder if he either didn't have a good restart or everyone around him just had a better restart, but he will try to, or was that Jacob making a move on him, or was that him making a move on Jacob? It's a little confusing. Looks like Nodix is going to try to squeeze them all out. Looks like Jacob's going to come off the best of them as we see a car on the grass there. It's the Red Bull of iQuicks, and he's going to have to wait to rejoin. And he emerged in last place. So a bit of a disaster for iQuicks there. Certainly not what he was looking for. Now, as of now, I don't know what the fastest lap is in this race currently, but let me just check for your championship stipulations. So Karem is currently P2. If Karem finishes P2 and gets the fastest lap, then Alex Bomberg has to finish P4 or better. If he finishes P2 and does not get the fastest lap, then Alex Bomberg is going to have to finish P5 with the fastest lap or better. But as of now, Alex Bomberg, as I'm speaking of him, goes up the inside now. It was the outside before. It turns into the inside for this corner and says, I'm not going to put it up to fate and try to get fastest lap. I'm just going to get past him on track. So as long as he stays in front, this championship battle will continue. But certainly really exciting stuff as they head up the hill. That's a great angle because I think that hill is a lot steeper than people think in that turn. But figuring out who's winning the championship is also really, really interesting. Also, Karem also can't lose points to Wakanda, who just pitted for the hard tire, so he'll be going the rest of the race on that hard tire. And it looks like he is 16 seconds back of Nodix, and then yeah, so he's about a pit stop back. That's interesting. That strategy move might have paid off fairly well, as we see a yellow flag for Nodix, off in a similar place to Batboy, kind of 1S down. But that's the third, or maybe all the drivers that are currently out, as iQuicks DNFs as well. I didn't even notice that. iQuicks has DNF'd. That is... Wow, now only 11 runners left. Looks like maybe everyone is guaranteed to score points. Now, if we have one more DNF, then everyone will be getting points. As we go on to another lap, Alex Bomberg gets P1 from Karem. And he will look to hold on to that position. But to have any chance of extending this championship, I think Alex has to have in his mind that he does need to win this race. Because it doesn't look like the Karem is going to give up on this battle. So he's got to keep going. Is that the AlphaTauri of Yoda off? Yeah, it looks like he is in the wall. Um, I don't know if he's going to Nope, it looks like he is out of the wall. No, it looks like what is going on? So I think he's, yeah, okay, so he has retired. So everyone's guaranteed points. Yay, everyone celebrates. But no time for too much joy as Karem needs to focus on tracking down Alex Bomberg. As we have yellow flag in Sector 3 now. That is a McLaren of Pepin. Looks to have spun on that right-hander that Wakanda is currently going around. But it hasn't affected him that much. I don't think he lost any positions. Obviously loses a bit of time back to Wakanda and to Nick in front. But Alex maintains his lead, as Karem gets ever closer down that back straight with the help of DRS. And I don't know if it's possible for Alex to break the DRS distance, but he's kind of going to have to, because it seems like Karem is getting closer every lap with the help of Toe and DRS. So Alex Bomberg is going to have to extend his lead to about a second, I think, to even have a chance in this race, in all honesty. As Nick Pankhurst ducks into the pits, only on those tires for 4 laps, so I wonder if we will see a new front wing go on Nick Pankhurst's Alfa Romeo. Yeah, it does look like he will have a new wing put on as his teammate. I thought Yoda Speak was already retired. That's a little weird. But new front wing for Nick Pankhurst. And the running joke is that Racing Point is just last year's Mercedes, and you know, the pink Mercedes. And although in F1 there's obviously they try to be as original as they can, I do think there is some truth to that. A lot of the parts were designed after that Mercedes, including the brake ducts, I think were the most controversial. So it's essentially the 2020 Mercedes racing against the 2019 Mercedes. Obviously, we do have equal performance here, but is that the Red Bull of Leroy? Yep, Leroy ducks into the pits after 11 laps on the medium tires. He will have to go 12 laps on the sauce, so he'll do more laps on the sauce than he did the mediums, which is interesting. I wonder if the mediums just don't have enough pace in them. But it does seem like Alex Bomberg and Karem both have enough pace in those yellow medium tires, so certainly not an issue for them. There obviously could be many reasons for that change. One of which might be that those are worn medium tires that Leroy's on. But we'll see if that move works out. He goes onto another set of mediums, so it obviously isn't a pace issue, or he wouldn't have gone onto the same tire. Maybe, I think he was just on a one set of mediums, so to get a nice view of the sleek Mercedes heading down the back straight. Oh my goodness, and Karem just flies by Alex Bomberg there. That looked really easy. It looked like he just was able to get by him in this straight. That's why I said that breaking the toe and breaking the DRS was going to be so important, because it was only a matter of time, and Karem proves that true by snapping up the lead in this race. And Alex Bomberg decides that it is time to pit, loses that position to Karem and says maybe it's time for a fresh set of tires, as Karem is now going to try to extend this lead, because if Alex Bomberg stays in traffic, then Karem will fairly easily clinch this championship. As he makes his way so smoothly through this S section, it's clear to see why he is the championship front runner. And TRT Kimi and Javi Mateos kind of quietly having an absolutely fantastic drive. The two Williams now in P2 and P3 respectively, although Mems Virus is kind of bearing down on Javi Mateos. He's going to have to try to stay in front of the Dutchman. But this does help out Karem a lot. If the Williams and the Renault continue to squabble, then Karem can just kind of waltz off into the distance and win the whole thing. So Karem will certainly be wary of that, and maybe this is a good time to push in clean air with no turbulence and just to kind of break away. You know, he certainly is kind of already broken away a bit, but to fully break away from the pack. And now Karem decides that the time is right to pit, so Alex, actually, the undercut might have paid off for him here. Let's see where he emerges. Here comes Alex around the penultimate corner. Final corner now. The McLaren of Pepin ducks it in. As you can see, it looks like Alex... Yes, the undercut does pay off, and Alex gets in front of Karem. So, I don't know if that undercut was a specific strategy or was just that the medium tires are falling off, as we have a yellow flag. Looks like it's Leroy who had a bit of a spin, it looks like, but he has recovered. Now Virus inherits first place, and I believe that even if Alex does not finish in front, one of the permutations of the title was that if Wakanda finishes in front of Karem, as he is now, then the championship will continue. So Alex Bomberg, not the final deciding factor in whether this championship will be extended. Wakanda Raring as well will kind of have a say in this, so that's interesting to see. Wakanda, obviously, I don't know how many wins he has this season, but he certainly has been very, very quick, and he can kind of play spoiler, because if Karem gets in front of Alex Bomberg, I'm sure he'll be thrilled, but then he also has to clear the Renault of Wakanda, as Alex Bomberg seems to be tracking down Wakanda right now. He's going to be looking to make a move here, and he does so. Another fastest lap for Alex, so he's really showing his pace. And now he can track down Jacob. I don't think that Wakanda will be able to have another go at him on the hard tire. At this point, probably has some temperature into them, but they're just not as fast as a soft tire, are they? Just kind of a fact of life. Looks like Karem now on the back of Wakanda, and if he does get around him, then he'll have to track down Alex Bomberg. All these confusing things to keep track of in this championship. Virus still in the lead of this race, but unfortunately, in situations like these, the race winner will not get much attention if a championship winner is crowned. And as of now, if Karem has the fastest lap, I don't think Alex has done enough. If Alex has the fastest lap, then he has done enough. So we will see. I wonder if there's. Can I check who has fastest lap? If I go to race director. Oh, view lap times. Okay. Sorry, I'm gonna have to interrupt the racing for a bit. But it looks like Alex's best lap is a 1:33.0, and Karem's best lap is a 1:33.1. So I don't know if anyone else has a lap faster than Alex. I don't believe he does. I don't believe anyone does. So it looks like Alex, as of now, has done enough to keep this championship competitive. But let me just check all the permutations again, because this is hard to keep track of. Karem is currently P5. Okay, so if Karem stays P5, Alex needs to finish P9 or better, which he is currently doing that. So since Alex is P3 with the fastest lap, then if Alex stays P3 with the fastest lap, then Karem needs to win. So Karem, first of all, needs to focus on getting fastest lap, and second of all, needs to focus on cutting his way through this field. Now Karem hunting down Alex Bomberg. Alex stays in front for now. But again, he's going to have to break that window, honestly, because that straight is deadly for overtakes, it seems. Karem slides it to the inside around the final corner. It's going to be a drag race, and it looks like Karem is going to come off best. Yes, that looks like move done. Alex Bomberg slides in behind Karem to get any bit of the slipstream down into turn 1. But yes, it is move done for Karem, and now he needs to fight through the pack here to win this race. He's got Jacob, his teammate, on hard tires in front of him, and Javi, again, having a fantastic drive in front of them on the medium tire, but Javi will likely have to make a pit stop, and in all honesty, Jacob might just let Karem through. That'll be the smart, strategic, teammatey thing to do, but we shall see. Alex Bomberg makes a move to the inside of Karem. We'll see if this pays off. Karem gets forced way outside, and it'll be curious to see who gets DRS here. Will it be Alex Bomberg? Will it be Karem? It looks like Karem will have DRS here down this back straight. It's 2 racing points and the Mercedes. Alex pulls to the left of Jacob. Jacob's going to have to block him to do some work for his teammate. Alex looks like he's going to hold position, but the 2 pink racing points are on his tail like sharks after bait. bobbing and weaving through the third sector. Alex loses it back in a little bit, but it does look like he gets a move done. Karem jumps his teammate. Jacob might have let off the gas a bit to let him through. But well done from Alex Bomberg to clear both of those racing points. Xavi not pitting yet. Honestly, at this point, he might just try to take those tires to the end. They might be it's drive till the tires explode for Xavi Mateos. That gap has closed to the leader by about half a second for Alex Bomberg. This is shaping up to be an absolutely ridiculous championship conclusion, possible championship conclusion. Obviously, this championship could go one race longer if Alex holds off Karem. Down the back straight they go. The gap to Karem is only about a tenth of a second here as Karem flies past so easily with DRS. That is really pretty ridiculous how easily he got past there. And now, Alex does have the fastest lap in P3. I think Karem does still need to win this race in order to claim the championship. Yes, in P3 with fastest lap, Karem needs to win this race. He's got to chase down Jabi, and he's got to do it quickly. Only about 5.5 laps remaining. Jabi's going to start lap 24, which will mean there are 5 laps remaining. And Alex Bomberg is not giving up the chase on Karem. Their tires are about the same age. So it's going to just come down to skill here. That gap to Javi Mateos again, closing rapidly. Javi, obviously a fantastic drive from him, but he's got 2 of the best drivers in the championship hunting him down right now, and he's just got to not make any mistakes. He may have to pit again, which will drop it down a few places, but he can't crash out of this race. As the drama continues, Alex Bomberg gets a 3-second time penalty for extending track limits. We'll see at the end of this race if those penalties will come into play. Here we go through the third sector. This has been a really enthralling race, and hopefully it's been as interesting for you guys as it has been for me. Now only a 2-second gap to Javi Mateos from Karem. Those tires for Javi have to be just about on the edge. 16 laps in, 4 laps to go. He's going to have to get 20 laps out of medium tires, which is absolutely insane. If I said Karem, I misspoke. I meant to say Javi. Down the hill they go, through the S's. Karem still keeping in front of Alex Bomberg, but he doesn't need to really focus on the person behind him. He's got to focus on the person in front. Another 8/10 off of the gap just in this first sector. Karem does get a 3-second time penalty of his own, but that cancels out Alex Bomberg, so it doesn't really matter. Alex Bomberg does seem to be gaining on this back straight, but he also doesn't seem to be gaining enough. He looks to the outside, now ducks it to the inside. He's going to go flying by. Oh, and Alex Bomberg's outbroke himself, and he's hit Karem. They're both off. Damage to both of them. If Virus gets past Alex Bomberg. Oh my goodness, Alex Bomberg just keeps in front of Virus. Is there damage? I know it's hard to see damage. Sometimes it's a glitch with multiplayer lobbies. As Virus does get in front of Alex Bomberg. Let's see if Karem pits here. This is going to be crucial if one of them pits and the other doesn't. I don't know if there's any damage. There had to have been. They seemed to both hit front tires, and certainly there was some front wing involved with that. As Karem does not seem to be pitting. Let's see what Alex Bomberg does. Oh my goodness, Alex Bomberg is just falling down the order. It's an absolute disaster for Alex. He outbroke himself heading into that corner. It spelled disaster. Karem seems to have come off the better, but Alex just seems to be very, very, very slow, unfortunately. As Jacob does get past Alex. And I must say, I know how desperate Alex is to keep this championship going, but that was just such a late move. Now the gap less than a second for Karem to Javi Mateos. He's going to have overtake, or not overtake mode, sorry. He's going to have DRS on the straight. Down the back straight they go. Only about half a second, not half a tenth between them. DRS does open up here for Karem as he heads down the back straight, chasing down the Spaniard of Javi, who's had a fantastic drive. I know I keep saying it, but he really is having just a fantastic race here. But it does look like Karem will take this position unless he can hold it around the outside. Can Javi keep it in? No, it does not look like he can keep it in on these worn medium tires. Karem now in P1 and in sole control of the championship lead and win. Now 2 laps remaining here. Can Alex Bomberg do anything about it? He's about 10 seconds back of the lead. Stuck behind Jacob, Kimi, Virus, and Javi. And it just seems like there's just no time left in this race. To stay in this championship, Alex needs to finish P3. Assuming Karem wins. If Karem somehow slips down to P2, then Alex needs to finish P5. We could be seeing the championship decide right now. As we head down towards the third sector, Javi pick up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. He does get passed by Men's Virus as well. And this race might just come down to penalties. I can't really calculate the exact penalty time that will be assessed to each driver, and if that will determine the result of the race. Penultimate corner here on the penultimate lap for M&T Karem. Fantastic season for him, and this might culminate in a victory in the championship as we begin the final lap here at the USA Grand Prix. I don't know if a title has ever been decided at COTA in real life, but the VRL title might be boiling down to this final lap. Alex Bomberg just beginning his final lap, so I do think he is just too far back. Through the S's we go, following along with Karem. It's been a hard-fought season. There were some races where the pace wasn't there for Karem, but he has been resilient, and he has really proved why he is one of the best, succeeding at the F1 level as well here, standing in for some drivers when they couldn't make it. So he's just had a really, really fantastic season. Virus is kind of tracking him down, in all honesty. Only about 8 tenths here, but assuming nothing absolutely ridiculous happens, Karem will win this race on track. Still waiting to see if there will be any penalty points assessed for that incident between Alex and Karem. Now here we go. Left-hander into the final left-hander. Virus is close, but he's not close enough. It does look like it is Karem who's going to win this race, and quite possibly the 2020 VRL F2 Championship. This is an absolutely huge result for Karem, and will be a big boost for him through the rest of the season and into the rest of the F1 season, and even next season F1. I'm sure the big teams will be looking to bring him on, especially as an F2 Championship champion, rather. Fantastic result for Karem. Looks like Alex does get up into P5, P6 rather, it looks like. But I do not think that it will be close enough to decide the championship. And Karem has won the championship now. I believe we can confirm that Karem is your 2020 VRL F2 champion. Fantastic result for him. It's really great stuff. Didn't have the best qualifying session, but the strategy was spot on for him. And just a really great result. We see there, race win confirmed, championship win confirmed. Just a dream season as the other VWT Racing Point driver wins driver of the day. But I think we all know our driver of the day is Karem. As we are at our podium, Javi Mateos does finish up in P3, a fantastic podium for the Williams driver. Men's Virus again with a solid P2 for him. But his compatriot, not his compatriot, one of the few non-Dutch drivers, Karem, hails from Turkey. Fantastic result for him. I'm sure he is ecstatic right now for winning the VRL F2 championships. Final results then. It's Karem. Actually, the other Williams of TRT Kimi gets P2. Where in the world? Javi Mateo somehow ends up in P9. Alex Bomberg in P6. Not enough for him to do anything in the championship, but it does look like that Karem is your championship winner. Oops, don't want to leave. Just wait for the session to run out. Let me just get a quick friend request for Karem so we can get a interview with him. Who do we need? We need Karem. I believe it's Karem, Kimi, and Virus. So let's go ahead and add players. There's Virus, Karem. Isn't it Karem? Oh, it's MNT Karem. I forgot. Whoops. There's Karem and Kimi. There we go. All right. Oh, whoops. We'll just wait for them to file in, grab some interviews, and send them on their way. Hello, Krem. Alright, I don't know if Virus or Kimi will be joining
Yeah, I will
us.
invite them.
Yeah, I invited them, but I guess we'll just give it a few minutes and see if they will join up. Hello, Kimmy. Oh, or not.
Oh, okay. He's gone.
He's gone, I guess.
Oh. Ah,
Oh,
there he
he's
is.
back.
Kimi?
What? I left the.
Okay, okay, we can hear you.
Yeah,
Get ready.
we should be able to hear you. We'll give
Yes.
Virus another minute. I don't know if he'll be joining us.
I
Also,
don't think
Karam,
he will join.
congratulations on the championship. You're a
Thanks,
goat.
mate. Thanks, mate. Congrats on your podium.
Yeah, I
Thanks,
guess
finally.
we'll just get it underway. I guess we can just adjust if Virus does come in. First of all, congrats to both of you. Kimmy, that was a great drive from you. I'm sure you're very happy with that. And then Karem, obviously, championship winner, dominated, pretty consistently throughout the season. Let me just get your first quick, general thoughts on how the race went, how your strategies went, and kind of what made the difference for you guys. I guess, Karem, we'll start with you.
Yeah, so first thing, in lap 2 a safety car came out, so I went on the medium tires and stretched it out and go on the softs at the end. But Alex was already on the medium, so he was also with me, so he's my championship rival.
Yeah.
But then I was pushing as hard as I could. I pitted for the softs and I pushed so hard. And then I overtook Alex, but he spun, I think, after I overtook him. But then I overtook Xavier Mateos and Jacob, and I won.
Yeah.
And Meanwhile was also quick today. He was right up on my gearbox at the last sector, last lap. So I was
Yeah.
scared a little bit, but it helped.
Yeah, certainly super. Yeah,
So
Virus.
GG.
Yeah, thanks for coming in, Virus. The question was, what was kind of the difference maker for you in the race today, in terms of strategy and what happened during the race? So we'll go to you and then to Kimmy.
Yeah, with Quixie, I don't know yet. I got brake tested. I have footage as well, but I need to see if it's was his fault. But yeah, good race. Xavi, I think MMG, I got a good battle with him. Then I overtook some people, and that's about it actually. Just have a good start. Overtook some people, pitted, then got brake tested, again pitted for mediums, and then I just overtook people.
Yeah, and Kimmy, what are your thoughts on this race?
Actually, not what I expected after the first lap, as I got damage from Bad Boy, so I just pitted in the first lap with the safety car, or in the second, so I went to the mediums, and then lap 17-18 for the softs, got a fastest lap, great pace, surprising. I was actually with Marcos in the party, and that's the only part of the race I didn't enjoy too much. We were going for a potential 2-5, and well, he got a puncher at the end.
Yeah.
So be bittersweet, but well, finally podium.
And so, with the championship decided, obviously by Karem, congrats to you. But with the championship decided, what's the goal for the rest of you guys for the rest of the season? I guess we'll just go in order again.
Still fight for the constructors
Yeah.
with Racing Points.
Yeah, obviously constructors is very close between you guys. I don't know what the results are after this race, but I do know that
I think it was 1 point between
Yeah.
Racing Point and Red Bull, so it's really close.
Yeah, there was definitely a 1 point gap at the start of this race. I do think that the Racing Point boys did finish in front. But yeah, Kimmy and Virus, what about you guys?
Top 5, at least.
Top 5, yeah.
Yeah, just make up some places in the championship, I think.
All right, well, I think that's going to be it from me. Congrats to all of you guys for a great race, and congrats to Karem for a championship. I will see you guys out there whenever the next race is.
Oh, cheers. Thank you.
Yeah.
And great race, both of you.
Thank you guys so
Yeah,
much.
so
Really appreciate it. Alright, and from all of us at VRL, we wanted to thank you yet again for tuning in to another exciting race, our championship decider as it turns out. Really happy to have you guys here with me. I've had a ton of fun this season, and I hope you guys did too.
and I will see you next weekend.